Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Pete on Retreat. Today, we're going to talk about life. Yesterday, I had a pretty awesome time at the Elephant Sanctuary, also known as Elephant Village. We had about 4 hours there at the sanctuary, and plenty of it was just time to hang out by yourself, hang out with the elephants. And I started thinking about the things that allowed me to come to this position in my life right now. I came up with 5 of the greatest lessons I have learned in life. Well, actually, I've got 3 bonus ones too, so stick around to the end of the video and you'll get those as well. Now, let me start off by saying I am no expert. I am not a self-help guru at all. I'm not a life coach. I don't claim to be enlightened or anything like that. Part of this is just an exercise for myself and to help me shape one of my videos. But I have found myself at a pretty cool spot in my life, and maybe some of these things could help you too. So take it for what it's worth. Here's the 5 greatest lessons I've learned in my life. Lesson number 1, no matter how bad things seem, you have options. This is probably the newest of the lessons that I've learned. It comes from my friend Allison in Austin. I became close with Allison over the last couple of years, and I was venting to her about my situation in life. I had things pretty good, had a nice house, great job, but I felt very stuck in it. I felt like I'd made my decision on my career, and that was that. Allison kept telling me, you're not stuck, you have options. And at first, I realized she was correct. Yeah, I had options. I could quit my job and do something crazy, but quitting my job meant I couldn't afford my house anymore. But I could afford my house still if maybe I got a few roommates. So there was different options for me, whether I wanted to consider them or not. The funny thing is, it's really this lesson that led me to my life abroad now. Allison said I had options, and then I started looking into what those options were. I discovered that if I just changed my mindset, became somewhat of a minimalist, stopped worrying too much about the future, and start living for today, that one of my options was retiring at 49 and going to travel the world for 10 years. So to my dear friend Allison, I miss you very much. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your advice. Lesson number 2, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. That one comes from my grandma. I was very close with my grandma, and she taught me a lot of things and was a big part of why I have any work ethic whatsoever and what I feel is as strong a work ethic as I do have. My grandma thought she could do anything, and it was because she could. She was a handyman, she was an artist, she was a carpenter, she refinished furniture, and she just did all kinds of stuff. She was also kind, compassionate, empathetic, and a wonderful human being. When my grandma passed, it left a void in our family that still isn't filled today, and unfortunately will never be filled. So as I was saying, my grandma taught me many things, but the one that sticks with me the most is if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. If you're going to take your time to do something, then do it right. Don't half-ass it. Don't phone it in. You're not doing anyone any favors by not doing something right. And if you're going to sign off on it and you're going to put your name on it, it should be something you're proud of. Now, I'll be honest, I still half-ass stuff. And every time I do, I hear my grandma say, Peter Joel, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right, in a very nagging but loving voice. As my channel's starting to grow, I think about doing things right. And I am doing my best to put more and more into each video as they come out, so it can be something that I'm proud of. Lesson number 3, your dreams are attainable. Now, this one comes from my dad, and this isn't one like my dad would tell me. I mean, you know, most parents tell their kids, not all, but most, that you could reach your dreams. Whatever you want to become, you could become. My dad actually did it. My dad grew up in New York City, went to the High School of Performing Arts, and at 17 or 18, he moved to California and became a professional actor. Now, as far as I'm aware, and at least most of the time, if not all the time, he didn't have like a regular job. He was just an actor. When I was growing up, I'd regularly see my dad in TV shows and commercials and even some movies. His career spanned over 10 years. I think it was like 15 or so. He had a dream and he made it happen. Now, my dad, being a successful actor and fulfilling his dream, didn't just stop there. He had another dream. He wanted to become a doctor. So after a successful career as being an actor, my dad quit acting. He went back to college. He got his master's degree in history and then went on to complete his doctorate. After he got his doctorate degree, he got a job teaching at the university. It was then he was able to help other people fulfill the same dream that he had. My dad's an amazing person for several different reasons. I love him dearly, and he is one of several things that I am very fortunate in my life to have had. And my dad's still around. He's going to come out to Thailand next year and visit me, if not this year. So yeah, lots of parents tell you you could do anything you want to do. My dad proved it to me. All right, here we go. Lesson number 4, everyone is deserving of love and kindness. Treat everybody with respect. And this one comes from my mom. On the subject of amazing people, my grandma, my dad, and my mom. Oh boy, was my mom amazing. I lost my mom about 6 years ago to cancer, and I'm still dealing with that. But I'm not alone. My mom had such a huge heart. She unofficially adopted stray kids all over the place, whether it was through her family of online communities or whether it was in person and they were living at her house with her. When my mom was raising me, she would often tell me, I want you to treat the homeless person that lives in the alley behind the apartment exactly the same as you would treat the Queen of England. And that wasn't like to treat them bad because I'm not into royalty or anything like that. It was to treat them with respect, to treat them with kindness, and to treat them with love. We're living in a time where people my age and older are learning to question some of the beliefs that they grew up with. My mom's always had a very diverse group of friends. When I was a young kid, I knew gay people. I knew transgendered people. For many, this past decade's been a bit of a learning experience when it comes to these types of experiences. Nearly everybody has a gay person that's come out in their family and they've had to deal with it. But I've been accepting of people since I was a little kid, and it's all because of my mom. I love you, Mom. Lesson number 5. Only you can make yourself happy. If there's one lesson that's probably more important than any of the other ones here, it's lesson number 5. This one's also very fitting for this video because it comes indirectly from a pretty important person. I really learned this one from listening to Buddha. Now, I'm no Buddhist and I don't claim to be even very knowledgeable in the ways of Buddhism. But in my 20s, I did research different religions. I read about many of them, and the philosophies around Buddhism led me to understand that happiness begins with yourself. Buddhism has a few important principles. First, there's the Four Noble Truths, and then there's the Eightfold Path to Righteousness. Now, I'm very much paraphrasing the Four Noble Truths, but they basically have to do with understanding that life is filled with suffering, and that it's just our reaction to what happens in life that actually causes the pain. Life is undoubtedly filled with tragedy. You are going to lose people you love in your life. Horrible things are going to happen to people that don't deserve it. Could be you, could be people you see, could be people you love. Yeah, life could suck. I mean, besides the things that happen to you personally, there's things like poverty and famine and war. It's very easy to let all these things get you down. So the lesson that only you can make yourself happy kind of has two sides to it. One has to do with the bigger picture as far as that kind of stuff goes, tragedy and loss. It's how you process these things and how you accept these things that will shape your own mental health. The other side has to do on more of the materialistic side of things. Is that new sports car going to make me happy? How about that Star Wars collection that's sitting in a bunch of boxes that you don't even get to look at? Oh, how about that beautiful girlfriend? Yes, relationships could help you be happy, but you need to be happy with yourself. If your only source of happiness is coming from external factors like material possessions or, I don't know, vacations to Laos, you're not really happy. In my 25 years at Trader Joe's, I was often asked, why do you seem happy all the time? And I kind of gave two different answers. I would either say, why would you not want to be happy? Or I'd share with them the secret. Only you can make yourself happy. And once you understand that and embrace that, life gets a lot easier. You did it. You guys stuck around. Thank you so much. Here's 3 bonus lessons for you. Bonus lesson number 1, Kaizen. Kaizen is the Japanese philosophy, as I understand it, as constant improvement. No, I've never really studied Japanese philosophy. This one I credit to Trader Joe's. Now, all in all, Trader Joe's is a fantastic company. They're a big reason why I was able to do this crazy thing I'm doing now. At the same time, they've had some issues and they've gone through some growing pains in the last decade or so. And I might do a whole video about that, but they do attempt to run their company on what they call the values guide. And one of those values is Kaizen. In layman's terms, it's an effort to continuously improve. I like to say it as striving for being 1% better every day. And you can apply it to whatever you're doing in life. Bonus lesson number 2, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, that's a pretty natural one. I think everybody kind of understands it, but I really learned that when it came to the pandemic. I've talked about my experience through the pandemic and how it kind of led me to my life here abroad. It happened. We all thought it'd be over in a few weeks or a few months, and then it wasn't. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I doubt I would be here in Laos right now. I'd almost certainly still be in Austin, Texas, slinging groceries, shaking hands and stacking cans, as my buddy Scott would say, hiring people, writing reviews, supporting my crew, making friends with customers. And there'd be nothing wrong with that as long as I was happy. And the final bonus lesson is you have to accept yourself for who you are. I cannot overemphasize how important self-acceptance is. It's a common lesson that is taught in therapy, for one, and by wise people all over the world. This ties directly into only you can make yourself happy. If you can't accept yourself for who you are, you're not going to be really happy. None of us are perfect. We all have faults. Constantly beating yourself up over things doesn't accomplish anything at all. Accept who you are. Challenge yourself to grow within your limits, if you have any limits at all. and just be the best you could be. Wow, you're still here? I'm impressed. So this is not going to be the new focus of this channel or anything. Like I said, I'm no expert, I'm no guru, I'm not starting my own cult. But I'm almost 50 and I feel like I do have some wisdom to share, even if it's the same stuff everybody else is telling you. I want to thank you all for sharing this journey with me this afternoon. The temples in Luang Prabang were absolutely beautiful. The entire town is breathtaking. The people are warm and friendly. The food is amazing. And I am truly blessed to be here. So as always, thank you all for watching. This is Pete on Retreat, and I wish you were here.